The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. I'm going to do what I always do. You know the drill. Put Greenwood Chevrolet's logo in that top right corner so you know where to go. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we thank them for their constant support since day one of the show. We got a great one for you today on a Friday to close out the week. It's rolling into the middle of May, and we're rolling into districts next week for softball and sectionals next week for baseball. But on this Friday, we're going to talk about the sectional finals that happened last night in Divisions 2 and 3. Had some good scores, had some blowouts. We'll kind of go over all the stuff that happened and set you up for next week's district semifinals. And then we'll also go over, of course, the baseball regular season games that were happening last night. A couple of conference champions crowned, and we'll also dive into the brackets. We showed you the seeds of baseball yesterday. We'll dive into some of the brackets here today, talk about them, how they shook up. We also have an interview for you today, like we do try to do every day. I think we've only missed one day all season, which is a gold star in Running Point's book, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to go into Salem today, and even though Salem softball, unfortunately, had their season come to an end a couple of days ago, this interview was just too good not to play on the show with Chase Toy, who will go down as one of the best softball players in the Salem program. Chased records, pun intended. She chased records all of her career. She has the record for season stolen bases and also career stolen bases. And I believe we're waiting on confirmation on the batting average record for the season. They were calculating the last couple games for her, but Coach Thorpe informing me this week before I interviewed her that she was very close to the batting average record, and it would just come down to what she did the last couple games and the final calculation. So very close, and if she did get the batting average record, then that's another feather in her cap. But she already had the record for career stolen bases and season stolen bases, 31 this year. Theft on the base pass. She's only been caught once, so very good base runner. But also, obviously, to get stolen bases, you got to get on base. So also a very good hitter at getting on base. You're going to hear from her towards the middle of the show, and it was a great interview. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. But before all that, let's get into the tournament action and set you up for the district semifinals next week in softball. See how last night's sectionals kind of went in Divisions 2 and 3. Going to pop up the screen on your screen like I do every day. Want to remind you that this is on the OHSAA Northeast District database. This is where I go. You can find a lot of this information as well on the OHSAA main softball page, but I like to go to the district because, one, you can look at the voting results if you ever want to, and two, you got all your districts in one nice little spot there. I think it's a little bit easier to navigate. We'll start in Division 2 and go to Northeast 1 and see where it stands after sectionals. And we start with Marlington, the one seed in this district. absolutely blowing the doors off of Painesville Harvey, 23-0, all Marlington in that one. On the bottom end of their bracket, they have West Branch winning over Edgewood 12-5 in this game. It was a late rally for West Branch. I believe a 6-run inning for the Warriors that really got them enough separation to be comfortable in this game. And it'll be West Branch versus Marlington in the district semifinals. Interesting because they're playing each other tonight too for the regular season finale and for the EBC finale. So, going to play each other tonight, and then they're also going to play each other on Tuesday in the district semifinals. You wonder how tonight will go. Like, what do you want to show? What do you want to do with tonight? Obviously, it's a rivalry game. You want to win it. You don't want to hold back. I'm sure Marlington wants to send a message to West Branch before that district. But for West Branch and Marlington, you wonder how much of their pitchers they show, what they want to, what they want the other team to see. I wouldn't be too worried about it if I was either Coach Woods or Marlington in that regard, because of the fact that there are no secrets between these two teams, right? I mean, they're division rivals. They've been playing each other um, all year for the last 4 years, and so on in the conference. But these players, these seniors, they know each other up and down. There are no secrets. So why hide anything in this game? I feel like this is just going to be one tonight where they both go at it and they both try to win as much as they can. If they do win, they take momentum into the game going forward. It might actually be beneficial, as much as it sounds really weird, for West Branch to lose tonight, because you imagine they win tonight. Marlington's going to be extra motivated to win this game in the district semifinals. But if you lose tonight, maybe Marlington sleepwalks into this game. Who knows? You never want to lose, but if they do and they come back and they win the district semis, we might look back at tonight and say maybe it was beneficial that they lost that game. No, I'm not saying they're trying to lose, but it might be a blessing in disguise if they do. Bottom half of the bracket, Aurora got the win. The 3 seed beats up West Geauga 10-0 in the sectional final. Aurora will advance to the district semis, and their opponent was decided in a really wild game between Jefferson and Ursuline. A pitcher's duel to start, but then Ursuline really took advantage late in that game and ran away. Well, I wouldn't say ran away with it, but definitely got enough cushion. Mia Pollock, just like I said she would yesterday, she pitched really well. Tournament experience for her in the circle, and this Ursuline team looks really hungry to get back to a regional. They'll have to go through Aurora, the 3 seed, and then when I'm looking at it, I still think Ursuline has the pitching to do it. I'm not overly scared of Aurora. I think they're a really good softball team, but they should have beaten West Geauga, 13, 14, 15. I mean, it should have been a blowout. 10-0 still a run rule, but I think Ursuline has the pitching to get to a district championship without a doubt. I think Pollock, whether you throw a Pollock or you throw Barbado and use a Pollock in the bullpen in this game, I think Ursuline definitely has the pitching to advance in this one. But that's how Division 2 looks in Northeast 1. So just to recap, the district semifinals will be Aurora versus Ursuline, and that'll be at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And then up here on the top end of the bracket, Marlington versus West Branch at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Both those games will be held at Jefferson High School for you in the Jefferson District. So let's go into Division 2 Northeast 2 and see how that one's shaken up. This is Canfield's bracket, and they are in the top end of it. They beat Perry last night 10-0. Melina Toth threw a no-hitter to start off her tournament run as Canfield advances. And then on the other end, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin able to beat Hubbard pretty handily as well, 10-2. The Lions and the Eagles season to advance to the district semifinals against Canfield on Tuesday. Bottom half of the bracket, we see that Mogador Field got into a really big fight with Girard, but was able to come on top 6-5. A really good effort from Girard to try to pull off this upset in Mogador. Just couldn't quite get enough, and they lose 6-5. Girard's season comes to an end in the sectional finals. Bottom of the bracket, this was a nuts bonkers game. Howland gets to win by the final score of 15-11. They were down at 1.8-2, and then they led 14-8, and then it was 15-11. Back and forth, not the cleanest game in the world. I think 10 combined errors on both teams. But you know what? Perseverance. You just find a way to win the tournament. Doesn't matter if it wasn't the cleanest game in the world. You find a way to survive and advance, and you work on the next game. I don't think Howland will have as rough of a defensive performance. It was probably defensively one of their worst games of the season. They were still fortunate enough to win because their offense was so good. Alyssa Masucci went 4 for 4, 5 RBIs, and hit a home run. So that just tells you how good that offense was when she's going like that at the top of the lineup. Really sets the tone for the rest of the offense. So I think Howland will have a good time. I think they have a good chance against Field coming off of a lackluster game against Girard where they probably should have won pretty handily with the way they've been playing this year. Remember, Field is a team that beat Louisville earlier in the season. So maybe Field losing some steam and Howland definitely gaining momentum after a win in that kind of crazy, dramatic fashion. So that's how this district will look in the semifinals on Tuesday. This one's going to be at Hubbard, and the semifinals will be Canfield versus NDCL. 2 o'clock start time at Hubbard on Tuesday. And then over there in the second semifinal, it'll be a 5 o'clock start time between Field and Howland at Hubbard High School. Let's go into Division 3 and see how that shaped up in the Northeast 1 district. We saw Poland get the win over Canton South pretty easily. 13-3, the final score there. Mary Brandt drove in 8 RBI and was perfect 5 for 5 at the plate. Big day for Mary Brandt to start the tournament as Poland advances into the district semis. Brookfield was able to figure out Rootstown's really good pitching. They win 7-5. And it was Jasmine Hubbard that was a big bat in the lineup, had the 2 RBI double with the game tied up at 2 to put Brookfield ahead, and they never looked back. Rootstown with a little bit of a rally late. They scored the last 3 runs of the game. Brookfield was able to hold on, though, and win. They will play Poland in the district semifinals on Tuesday. Bottom half of this bracket, South Range, no trouble at all with Crestview. 16-0, they get the win. Gretchen Bartels, 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs, so she had a big day. She's got a knack for doing things in the district tournament. Remember last year's district championship game against Gilmore Academy? Gretchen Bartels hit a pair of home runs to help the Raiders beat the Lancers and advance to regionals. We go down to the bottom of that bracket, and it is Pymatuning Valley getting the edge of Garfield by 1 run, 6-5, a really good sectional final, and we knew it would be, not just by the seeds, but watching these two teams all season. So we knew that game would be a good one. Pymatuning Valley able to get the win. They'll advance to play South Range on Tuesday. I want to go into some accomplishments that were tweeted out by Garfield Softball. And I want to give a shout out to as they end their season against Pymatuning Valley. And it was Kendall Hahn got her 100th career hit, and Lizzie Moore gets her 200th career strikeout, both in this game. So big milestones reached despite the loss for Garfield. So that's a positive note that they can take into next year, that they were able to get 2 really good players, really big accomplishments before the season ended. So the district semifinals at South Range on Tuesday will start at 3:30, and it'll be Poland versus Brookfield. Poland beat Brookfield in the regular season 15-9, but Brookfield did not throw Miranda Nicholson. So we'll see how this game goes. I think he can throw that game out the window for that matchup. And then South Range will play Pymatuning Valley after that one. Rough start time is about 5 o'clock at South Range. Actually, 6 o'clock. So 3:30 and 6 for this game at South Range between Pymatuning Valley and the Raiders. Winners go on to a district championship, and as you see, we have the possibility to see Poland versus South Range in a district championship game. That would be something to watch because that has been a conference rivalry for a long time now, especially in girls' sports. Whether you're talking basketball, softball, or volleyball, that's one that everyone gets up for when those two teams meet each other, and it would be the first tournament matchup between the two teams, I believe, in program history, because Poland has spent a lot of time up in Division 2, and South Range has been pretty consistently down there in Division 3. So if both teams win, we'll see them in the district semifinals. Obviously, Brookfield and Pymatuning Valley want to have something to say about that, and they will play for a chance at the district championship on Tuesday. 3:30 and 6 are your start times for those games. Let's go into the last bracket in Division 3 to be decided last night. It was the LeBray District, and it was Champion getting the win 18-0 over Berkshire. And wait until you hear these stats from Gabby Gradishar. Let's start in the circle, right? So in the circle, Gabby Gradishar, all she did was throw a perfect game, 9 strikeouts in the 5 innings with the run rule victory. Didn't walk anybody, didn't hit anybody, obviously. No runs, obviously. And then at the plate, 3 for 3, 3 home runs, one of them a grand slam, 8 RBI, 3 runs scored, and she also walked. So she was a perfect 4 for 4 in her plate appearances. And then 9 strikeouts, no walks, no hits, and no errors. A perfect game, plus 3 home runs, plus 8 RBI, plus a grand slam in her first ever varsity tournament game as a sophomore. So I think Gabby Gradishar let her presence be felt in the sectional final. Champion will advance to the district semifinal on Tuesday. Who will they play? Well, they'll play Wycliffe, who got the win over Beechwood 18-2. So both offenses in this matchup really impressed in the sectional final. So Wycliffe advances. They will play Champion in the district semis at LeBray. We look at the bottom half of this bracket. Columbiana pitchers duel the start, but then their offense found out a couple of holes in the Eagles, and they win for the third time over United this year. 5-1, the final score there. They advance in the district semis. And then we will also see Lakeview, who got a big 14-7 win over Southeast last night. They will advance. Max Stowe hit a home run for Lakeview as well. So a lot of home runs in this tournament as Lakeview versus Columbiana happening on Tuesday to go along with Champion versus Wycliffe. Those games will start at 2. Champion will play at 2 o'clock in LeBray. And then it will be Columbiana versus Lakeview at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. 2 and 5 o'clock at LeBray for district semifinals. Winners will play on Thursday at 5 o'clock in LeBray in the district championship. So all your district semifinals are set. We had divisions 1 and 4 yesterday be set, and then now last night divisions 2 and 3. All your district semifinals are set to also be broadcasted on YSN. Our broadcast coverage starting in the district semifinals. So all those games tomorrow, next week, will be on YSN. And I want to remind everybody that the broadcast for district games, like every tournament game that pops up on the network, will be a paywall, a pay-per-view paywall of $9.99 per day. So one payment of $9.99 will give you access to all the district games that happen on that night. And then the next day you'll have to do the same. So it does not carry over into the next day. That is obviously because of the fees that are put down upon us by the OHSAA. So we have to kind of counter that with the pay-per-view wall to make up for that and not be in the red for money. So that's how that goes. Let's go over some of the baseball scores that happened last night as well. Go into our scoreboard. And there was plenty of regular season baseball to be had. I'm just going to go over all the scores, so you might hear some repeats for the softball that we just went over because they're kind of just hodgepodged in with the baseball. Edison was able to beat Buckeye Local 8-3 last night in baseball. We saw McDonald win 11-0 over Western Reserve. Waterloo got the win over Rootstown 6-4, final score there. Some more baseball for you as we saw Brookfield fall to Matthews 13-3. Champion, big win over Crestview. And with that win, LeBray gives out a big cheer for Champion because LeBray is now your MVAC Gray Tier champions with Champion's win over Crestview. Don't get confused there with that tongue twister. We had Hubbard go out of the conference and fall to Wilmington 14-3 last night. West Branch beats Grand Valley 9-2. JFK with an impressive shutout victory by Jaden Richel as he shuts out Heartland Christian, and the Eagles win 6-0 over the Lions. Jackson Milton wins the MVAC Scarlet tier with a 7-2 win over Mineral Ridge. So congratulations to Jackson Milton. Very interesting tonight that Jackson Milton and LeBray are playing each other. So it'll be a matchup between the two MVAC tier champions. So you might call tonight an MVAC championship between Jackson Milton and LeBray. We also saw Jefferson and Niles squared off. The Dragons get the win there, 6-2, the final score. Ursuline wins over Cardinal Mooney, 12-2, final score there. Canfield had senior night, and they were all over Struthers, 11-1 to honor their seniors. Pictures for that can be found at Mahoning Valley Sports. They did a great job at Canfield senior night. We saw Columbiana baseball win 11-4 and claim the EOAC championship over Wellsville. Howland baseball got the win narrowly over Boardman, 4-3, the final score there for the Tigers. Beaver Local gets their first win of the season, 13-0 over Lisbon. Congratulations to all those kids at Beaver Local. We know how much time they put in, and they get the results to fall their way last night against Lisbon. St. John got the win last night over Bristol, 4-0, final score there for the Heralds. Let's see, more baseball. More baseball. That's softball. That might be the last baseball score that we get. Nope. Sorry, LeBray got the win over Garfield last night, 13-1. Final score there. Vikings once again winning the MVAC great tier with champions win. We also saw Poland get the win over Girard in 88, 9-2. Final score there. Another great pitching performance by Salem as they beat United 2-1 on the baseball diamond. And I believe those are your final scores from baseball last night. So before we take a break, I think we have time. I think I've timed this well. We can go into the baseball brackets and at least look at some of them. So we'll go back to this district page that I left up for that reason. And we'll go into baseball up here, right above girls basketball. And we will see what these brackets in Division 1 look like. In E1, Northeast 1 for baseball in Division 1. And we see the 2 seed Walsh Jesuit. They'll have the bye. They will play the winner of Ashtabula Lakeside and Twinsburg. So Lakeside, a YSN team right there looking for a big first win of the tournament in the sectional semifinals. Fitch, the 12th seed. They will play the winner of Solon and Chagrin Falls. 24 versus 29. And that game for Fitch will be in Fitch on Thursday, the 18th at 5 o'clock. We scroll down to the bottom half of this bracket. Glen Oak will play Nordonia or Boardman. Boardman, the 26th seed, Nordonia, the 10. And that's a big match. That's a tough matchup for you look at Glen Oak saying like we're the 8th seed, and if Chalk plays out, we get the 10 seed in the first round of the tournament. And then if it doesn't, we get a really scrappy Boardman team that has some really good pitching that's been able to handle really good offenses this year. I think the question for Boardman is, are they going to be able to hit and back up that good pitching and give them enough run support that they don't have to be perfect? Don't think you can ask your pitchers to be perfect in this Division I tournament, but you ask them to keep you in the game, then Boardman pitching can definitely do that. And so it'll just be on their offense to back them up and give them a little bit of insurance and leeway there. Another YSN team popping up in this district is Louisville, the 9 seed. Will be playing the winner of Uniontown Lake and Willoughby South. That is 16 versus 22. So whoever wins that game will be playing at Louisville on Thursday at 5 o'clock in the sectional finals for baseball. Let's go look at Northeast 2 for Division 1 and see how it lines up. We have at the top of the bracket Aurora, who is Division 1 in baseball. They're the 3 seed. They will play the winner of Riverside versus Mayfield. We have Kent Roosevelt getting the bye. They will play the winner of Hudson versus Brush. Stowe Monroe Falls. I'm sorry about that. We'll play the winner of Green and Maslin Perry, and then on the bottom end of the bracket, University School awaits the winner of Mentor versus Warren Harding. So no YSN teams in this bracket, but that's how it looks for those of you interested. And you might see one of those or a couple of those teams in the regional. We'll go to the Northeast 3 and look how that one looks. Maslin Jackson, the 1 seed, they'll get the bye, and they'll await the winner of Canton Hoover versus Euclid. That is then 21 versus 34. On the bottom half, it's going to be Maslin Washington against Dover. That sectional final is already set. Chardon gets the bye as the 4 seed. They await the winner of Cleveland JFK and Canton McKinley. And then at the bottom, it is Hoban with the bye, and they will get the winner of Ellett versus North. So that one will be on Thursday at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, no, 5 o'clock, sorry. Ed Hoban versus the winner of 17-seeded Ellett and, 33-seeded Eastlake North. So that's what Hoban's track looks like. I think one of the things that you have to watch out for in this bracket is definitely going to be Chardon at 4. And then I think one of the teams that might be a sneaky team is Maslin Washington at that 10 seed at the top end of the bracket. Wouldn't be too shocked if they get an upset and get into the district final. So that's how Division 1 looks, and obviously we'll dive into some more brackets next week. Don't want it to Division 1 with 3 Northeast brackets, remember, because there are so many Division 1 teams, and I think by far the most in the district when it came down to the Super District voting. So 3 Division 1 brackets, and in our Northeast region, and Monday we'll start going over D2 and D3 as well. But that'll do it for our bracket portion of the show. Today, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have the interview section of the show. Chase Toy from Salem, her interview will be played after this break from Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
This auto show season, Greenwood Chevrolet is celebrating more than a stunning Chevy vehicle lineup. We're celebrating the team that helps you find the perfect vehicle and goes the extra mile for you. Right now, lease a 2023 Equinox for as low as $289 a month, with Chevy lease loyalty up to $1,500. With over 280 vehicles in stock, you can experience the auto show in a brand new way, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Clint. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers. Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These 3 values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to, and we try to do the same on this show every single day. One of the ways we try to do the same is to share great interviews with great student athletes with you guys, and we're going to do that now. Chase Toy from Salem, although their season did unfortunately come to an end a couple of days ago with the loss to Perry in the sectional finals. Doesn't underscore the great career and great student athlete that Chase Toy is. It was a great interview as well, and way too good of an interview to not be played on the show. So I wanted to get it out there, and I wanted to get out there as quick as possible. So here is Chase Toy from Salem softball, and the career stolen base record holder, the season stolen base record holder, and still up in the air, possibly the record holder for batting average in a season this year as well. Anthony Herwig here with a Salem softball player profile. I am joined by Chase Toy. Chase, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
And your name would suggest that you're running as if you're getting chased. You are one of the best base stealers in the area. I want to start off by saying that and how you've developed as a base runner over the years and how you've gotten to this point where you're sitting at the basically base stealing queen in Salem.
Yeah, it's been quite a crazy journey. I haven't really had a lot of chances to steal in the past, but this year I've really just kind of taken the reins and, just running as fast as I can.
Was that a goal coming into this season to try to become a base stealer and try to take advantage of those opportunities?
Absolutely. My sister last year was kind of on track to break the record, and she got pretty close. So this year I was like, let's make it a little harder for her to beat it in the future.
So, now that you guys are going at each other with the record and record, what's that been like? Hey, I'm going to beat the record. You're going to beat the record,
It's been a lot of fun. We always had this sort of friendly competition. We get along really well because we've played together for years, but it's definitely a little bit of competition with the back and forth.
One thing we know about the Salem softball team is that it has a lot of personality on it. Take us into the dugout and what it's like being on this team with so many great personalities and so many girls that you're able to get so close to.
We're a very well bonded team. This year, there's just something special about our chemistry. There's no problems. We get along so well, which obviously is rare on a softball team full of teenage girls. But yeah, there's really not a lot of drama. We get along great. We cheer each other on, always lifting each other up. So, yeah.
When Coach Thorpe sent us your way, one of the things he told us was that the steals that you do get aren't cheap. Like that you're getting them legitimately. When he's talking about that, he obviously thinks so highly of you. What's it been like to be under Coach Thorpe and the things that he's been able to teach you?
It's been pretty great. I've really appreciated him giving me the chance to get the steals I've gotten this year, because obviously a lot of coaches, they're going to be a lot more sparing than he is, but he's always willing to let me take that chance and risk it, even if, it's not always the best move for our team, but, he has faith in me to get there and do what I need to do. So.
Well, when you're looking at your numbers, it's usually a good bet for your team. You've only been caught stealing once all season. What gives you that confidence? Like when you're going, you have to be confident that I'm going to get there and to take that risk. What gives you that confidence in yourself?
It's part of it is the numbers. I've gotten lucky a few times, and but I also know I work really hard and I know how to slide. I know how to do things to the best of my abilities. So I have faith in myself to do what I need to do to help my team.
So obviously, as people that watch the sport know, you can't steal unless you get on base, which means you're getting on base quite a bit this year as well. What's been working so well for you at the plate?
I really worked a lot on my mental game this year. In the past, I've struggled with getting down on myself, and if I had a bad at bat, it would carry over to the next one, and I'd be thinking about that too much. But yeah, this year I've focused on just having fun, going out there and doing the best that I can. no matter what the outcome is.
I like that you brought up the mental game because this season has been up and down for Salem, and you've definitely had some adversity on this team, which is softball. That's just the sport. It's built to make you fail. How have you guys handled the mental aspect of the game and trying to stay confident through it?
Yeah, like you said, there's definitely been some adversity. We're playing a lot of good competition, but I think we're really just handling it by staying positive and lifting each other up and having fun, even when we're losing by a lot. And it's the same thing, even if we're losing or ahead in the game, like we're just staying positive and lifting each other up no matter what.
And you said it, even if you are losing, you look at these scores, and not a lot of times is it by a lot. There aren't a lot of games this year where you've been, completely out of the game. You've been competing really well. What's that mean to the confidence of this team, knowing that, hey, maybe we didn't come out of the right end of this score, but we are right there. We're making the right moves. We're making the right steps. What's that do for you guys going forward into tournaments?
It's actually really exciting. Obviously, in the past few years, we haven't stayed close with Marlington or West Branch or those teams. But this year we did, and we know that's improvement for next year. And like I said, my sister plays and she's younger than me. And so I still get to watch how this team is going to grow and do better and say, oh, yeah, I helped to get there. So, yeah.
I like that you brought that up because one of the things that kind of hallmarks a great leader is what they do when what the program does when they leave. What are some things that you hope you see when you have to just be the spectator on this softball program instead of being out there playing?
I really hope that I see the team still staying positive and staying bonded as a team no matter what. I want them to be loud and going crazy in the dugout, cheering each other on for sure.
When we always ask the leaders of a current team, what leaders of the past showed them how to lead? When you think of the leaders that you've had in your career that showed you how to be the leader that you are now, what names pop into your head?
I would honestly have to go to my travel team for that. When I joined travel ball, I was a lot younger than these older girls, but I know Megan Hipley still plays. She plays for Alliance. Maddie Wyke is another one, but they were definitely great leaders on the team. Yeah, but that's not really our high school girls.
It's whoever taught you how to lead. That can be a lot of sources. But on the flip side, next year, if we interview a Salem leader that's leading the team next year, we ask them what they learned from being your teammate and how they learned how to lead from being your teammate. What do you hope their answer would be to that?
I would definitely hope that they would say hard work would be one, because I definitely hope to instill that in my teammates. Another one would just be to stay positive and have a good attitude no matter what the circumstances.
Let's talk about your softball journey. Obviously, you work hard at the sport. You play travel. You play it so many months out of the year. When did you start? When did you kind of start to fall in love with it? When did you start taking it super seriously?
So I've played softball most of my life. I started doing rec ball like 8 years ago or something, but then I joined travel ball maybe 4 years ago, and that's when I really started to get serious. But it honestly, softball was my first love. Like it's I eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's kind of everything. But yeah, 4 years ago or so is when I started taking it really seriously and did it year round.
Is it one of those things that you've loved ever since you can remember playing, or was there like a moment or a season or maybe a summer where you're like, I love being out here on the softball field?
It's honestly just been forever. My mom played D1 ball, so she kind of started me young and got me on it and taught me how to love it.
We have to talk about that. Having a mom that is definitely in the halls of softball with the D1 softball resume. What's that been like, being able to ask her for advice and go to her for stuff and things like that?
It's been amazing, honestly. She made me the player I am today. I wouldn't be where I am without her. Because whenever I'm struggling, I can go out and hit off the tee, and she'll come out and coach me. And yeah, it's definitely been hard at times because she knows I can do better than I am sometimes. So it's just the expectations are higher, but it's definitely made me a better ball player.
What do you think are some of the biggest points of advice that you've gotten from her over your career?
Probably the "Suck It Up, Buttercup" is a good one, or get out of your head. Those are some good popular advice.
When you think of times that you had to suck it up, Buttercup, I mean, what are like the things that come to mind when she really has to say that to you?
Sometimes you dive and it hurts a little bit, or hits don't go the way they need to, or stuff like that. It's always just get over it and move on, do better next time.
Now, I have no idea where this next question is going, but I was told to ask it to you by your coach, so it's his fault. Michael Thorpe said that there's a funny story with your nickname, which is Turkey, and to ask about it, so I got to ask about it. What's behind Turkey?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is kind of a long story. So we had a girl on our team last year, her name's Layla Murray, and she could not come up with a nickname for me. No one could, because Chase told her, like, what are you gonna do with that? So she was like, all right, Chasey Basey. Well, that kind of sounds like baster, so Turkey Baster. That was where they went with that. And then I told them I didn't like that. So then it became Turkey Chaser. So now I'm just Turkey Chaser.
So what I'm guessing when you said you didn't like that, the Turkey part was probably the part that you were thinking they would change, right? Like, and then they just kept the turkey and said Turkey Chaser instead of Turkey Baster.
Well, people just definitely weren't understanding where it was coming from. And every time I play against a different team, they'd be like, what is that? Where did that come from? I'm like, man, I didn't even know. It's a long story.
It's great. It gives you definitely that unique identity. But one of the things we also have to talk about before we let you go is your future, obviously, what you're going to do after high school. What are some of your plans and goals that you have for yourself in the next couple of years?
So I'm not actually going to be playing college ball. I had a few offers, but it's just not the best choice for me right now. I will continue to play travel ball. But I'm actually starting my own business instead of going straight into college. Probably going to take a semester off and then go back into business admin.
Let's talk about your business that you're starting. Give us a little plug. What kind of business are you going into? What started that thing, and how kind of excited are you for that endeavor?
So I'm actually doing laser engraving. I got my engraver, got it set up and going. I'm going to be doing wood engraving, that kind of thing. I'm actually really excited about it. I've always been really into art and crafts and that kind of thing. So it's really a good thing for me to go into and start making money.
How did you fall into laser engraving? What was one of the things that made you obviously proficient in that enough to start a business?
So my dad knew some people that were doing it and it was really successful for them. And so they kind of helped me get started into it. And that's when I realized oh yeah, this is something I can do. I'm good at this. So yeah.
So since you've decided not to play college softball, like you said, you're still going to play travel ball. What other ways can you see yourself keeping the game as a part of your life? Can we see Coach Toy maybe somewhere in the future? You think that would be something that you're good at?
I would love to coach. Honestly, I'm definitely planning on maybe taking on an 8U team or something like that. I actually help at my coach's building a lot too. I help do hitting lessons and stuff like that. But yeah, I would love to be a coach one day.
In that same sense, obviously you work with a lot of little girls that want to be you when they grow up, want to be where you're at, want to be at that varsity level. What kind of advice do you give them when they're coming to you for advice?
Definitely just say, keep your head up no matter what. Even if you're having a rough day, there's always tomorrow, there's always next time. You can do better and make things better for yourself. I also always say, lift your teammates up and they'll lift you up back. And that always creates a good atmosphere.
You're almost done with high school, but you're not quite there yet. So we're going to get a little bit reflective. What have been some of your favorite parts about being a part of this program at Salem and some of the favorite memories that you've collected over the last 4 years?
We always put on a good show. We're always making the other team crack up laughing because we're always doing dumb stuff. Also, our Tennessee trip that we do is always a blast. And this year it was a great time, even though the weather wasn't great. But yeah, we're always having fun.
We'll go more in general with that question. What are some of your favorite parts about being a part of this community that you're going to miss and being part of the Salem school system and being able to represent those colors and the Quakers across your chest?
It's hard to move on from something that has been a part of my life for so long. I love these girls with all my heart. We're a great group, and I'll definitely miss them. I fully plan on staying in touch and coming back to watch all the games, and supporting my sister and my friends that are still on the team. But yeah, I'll miss it.
Want to take some time to get to know you off the field before we let you go. So my first question is, are you more of a sunrise person or sunset person?
Definitely a sunset person. I could never
Night
be
owl or early to rise?
night owl.
So you're going to be happy when you don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. anymore for school.
Oh yeah.
What's kind of the morning routine when you're getting ready for school? What are some things that you always keep to as a consistent routine?
Well, I'm actually homeschooled, so there's not a whole lot of consistency to my life. But I mean, staying in pajamas most of the day, that's pretty consistent.
That's good. When you think about, obviously being homeschooled, what are some of the things that you kind of like about that and some of your favorite things to learn about?
I love the freedom of it. I kind of get to learn about what I want and go at my own pace and everything. It's pretty great.
What have been some of your favorite kind of things to educate yourself about over the last 4 years of your high school?
I love all kinds of history. I'm kind of a nerd, but yeah, I love diving deep into history.
All right. If you could transport yourself into any point in history, whether it's American history, world history, place would you want to go and see firsthand with your own eyes?
Ancient Greece, 100%. It would be
Why
so
ancient Greece? What is it about ancient Greece that kind of attracts you to it?
It's just so pretty. All the architecture and everything. I just can't imagine what it would have looked like when it was brand new.
All right, you had that same time machine, and we're telling you have to go into the future. How far would you want to go to see yourself, to see where you are able to get to? How far would you want to go into the future?
Maybe 10 years or so, because who knows where I'll end up.
All right, Chase, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system, all the people that are there for you throughout the years, and all the people that you wouldn't be where you are without.
Yeah, thanks to my teammates so much for this year. It's been a blast. I've loved playing with you guys. I want to thank my parents, too. I wouldn't be where I am without you, or even close to where I am. And thanks to my coaches as well. You've helped me get to where I am. That's all I got.
All right, Chase, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck in the last couple games of the season. We hope you're able to finish off your senior year with some positivity. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
And that was Chase Toy from Salem. We thank her for her time, and what a great softball player she has become in Salem lore. She'll go down the record books as one of the best players to come through that program, record holder for steals in her career, steals in a season. And once again, up in the air right now about batting average in a season. I'm told by Coach Thorpe that she is very close. It's just some last calculations that have to be made with their last couple games. So, once we know, we'll share that. We'll definitely give her flowers if she did indeed break the record for the season batting average this season in 2023. Let's go over the games that are going to be on the network on this beautiful Friday. It should be a good one. A lot of baseball, softball. There are still a couple of games happening for tournament tune-ups next week. And one of the things I love about tournament time for softball is these teams will play once and maybe twice in a week. But then, you get 27 games by the OHSAA. And a lot of teams like to fill a couple of matchups here and there between tournament games to keep their team sharp, to see live pitching. So every now and then you see a really good matchup pop up between a tournament game that is just one that we're dying to see, that the two teams get together and say, hey, we were scheduled to play each other during the regular season. It got rained out. Let's get back together and see what we can do against each other. Usually not in the same bracket, but sometimes in the same region or in the same district, maybe in different divisions. It's always fun. It's always fun to see matchups pop up in the middle of the week like that. So here's what's on the network tonight. Baseball will have 5 games on the network. At 5 o'clock, Joe Eusebio is going to follow Columbiana to East Palestine for another EOAC matchup there. Marlington will be at Canfield, and it will be Landon Palates on the call there. JFK goes to Cardinal Mooney at Scene 1, and that's a 5 o'clock start time. Alec Caberna will be on the call there, and then he'll also be doing the 7 o'clock game on Scene 1, which is Bristol against Newton Falls. Last on the network, it is going to be a 7 o'clock game at Eastwood Field. Matt Marr is going to be on the call with his buddy Jordan. That's going to be Crestview versus Springfield at Eastwood Field at 7 o'clock. Other games that are happening tonight, the MVAC matchup between the two champions of the tiers in LeBray at Jackson Milton. That should be a really fun one. Middle Ridge will also travel to Hubbard. Some games got canceled tonight. Campbell at Cheney has been canceled for baseball. Southeast at Garfield has been canceled. And so has Hoban going to St. Vincent St. Mary. Softball will have one game on the network. It's a regular season matchup. It's senior night in Canfield, and they are welcoming in Columbiana. So senior night, Canfield hosting Columbiana. I will be there in Cardinal Country. Also happening tonight, West Branch hosting Salem at hosting Marlington. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Salem. Hosting Marlington at 5 o'clock. That'll be a preview of the upcoming district semifinal happening on Tuesday. So those two teams are going to play each other twice between today and Tuesday. It should be fun to see what the teams bring to the table tonight in that matchup. And then it'll also be Class B baseball, video only from Scene Park on Scene 3, both 14U action. That'll be throughout the weekend as well. We'll preview tomorrow while we're here. Saturday, we have baseball at noon, Middle Ridge hosting Cardinal. Matt Marr, gonna be on the call there for Middle Ridge. Joe Sebio in action again as Girard goes to Columbiana at 12. Ty Bartell will be at Hoban as they host Worcester tomorrow at noon. And then it is going to be Girard at Columbiana for that doubleheader. Joe Sebio will be there for both. Other baseball games happening tomorrow. McDonald will travel to LeBray. Southern goes to Springfield. Wellsville will go to Latonia. And then LeBray and McDonald they cancel their doubleheader, so they're just playing once at 11. I will be back at Canfield as they welcome in Maslin Jackson. LeBray will also be at McDonald, and Southern will go to Springfield tomorrow as well at 5 o'clock for both those games. And then there will be Class B baseball on the network tomorrow as well, video only from Scene, both on Scene 1 for 14U, so a good chance for those kids to play on the big stadium at Scene Park. And that'll do it for today's episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. And we thank you so much for tuning in. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin, as always. We wish you have a very good weekend full of some baseball, some softball. It's a lighter weekend than most because these teams are wrapping up the regular season, and obviously softball preparing for district semifinals. But still some to have. Still something to have on the network. So going to be a fun time. We thank you for tuning in again. We'll be back on Monday with a recap of the weekend. We'll have a preview of the district semifinals happening on Monday. Sectional semifinals will be happening for baseball as well. We'll talk about that. We'll also have an interview for you on Monday as well with a player to be determined. I have a couple in the can I can use. So be back here on Monday from 1 to 2. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Running Point, brought to you by